Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, I'm going to talk about quick deploy Ridgelines on a budget. I'm going to share with you a very simple way to make one that's not going to break the bank. So let's start off with 25 feet of paracord of your choice. I picked this paracord up at Dollar General, Dollar Tree for $1.25. This is going to be good because it's 25 feet and it's for someone who's on a budget. Now, if you want something that's really nice, you could pick up one of these 25-foot survivor cord bundles and have more options to your Ridgeline. Now, the next thing that you'll need for this is number 36 bank line. I have 3 of these and they are 18 inches long. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an overhand knot right here, and where this tail comes out of the overhand knot, I'm going to put the other end in where that tail comes out. So I'll tighten that up, and then I'll basically tie an overhand knot around the other one. And what this will do is this will make me a little loop. These loops are going to be the loops that I use for my prusik. So I'm going to make 3 of these. So again, we're just going to make an overhand knot, go in with the standing end, which is now the working end. I'm going to go in right there. So I'm basically tying an overhand knot around each cordage. Okay, so it's a fisherman's knot, which is what I'm making here. Cool thing about the fisherman's knot is when you pull these ends, they come together, and as this knot gets more pressure, it only gets tighter. So there's 2. Now let's do one more. So again, it's an overhand knot. Where the tail comes out, we're going to go in right there. These little tails here need to be between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. If you make the little tails too short, you could slip out. So I recommend at least half of an inch on the tails. So something like that. So now I have my 3 prusik loops and I have my 25 feet of paracord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paracord, and on one end of the paracord, gosh, this stuff is super thin, but it's still going to work for the purpose of what we're doing here. This is going to be for hanging a tarp, making an improvised shelter, and that's really all we're doing here. So on this end, I'm going to make a bowline, cowboy bowline. If you do not know how to make a cowboy bowline, I do have a knots playlist. So this is what the cowboy bowline looks like. So here we have the cordage in our hand. I'm going to make this little loop right here. I'm going to take this working end, I'm going to go through the loop, underneath the standing end, and back out of the loop. The reason I prefer a cowboy bowline is because it puts the tail on the outside of the knot. So that's what that looks like. It's a very simple knot to tie. So now that we have the 3 prusik knots and our 25 feet of paracord, we're going to go over to the tree and I'll show you how I connect this ridge line to the tree. Okay, at the tree, I'm going to go around the tree with my bowline, and I'm going to pass a bight of rope through the bowline. I'm going to take a stick or a tent stake and I'm going to put it through that bight, and this is going to give us a marlin spike hitch connection to the tree. This is a very good solid connection, and the reason I like this so much is when you're finished, you can disconnect this very easily and everything falls apart. It's extremely easy to set up. So again, we're going to come around, pass a bight through, just like this, put our stick through, and now we'll go to the other tree and I'll show you what we do there. Okay, we're going to come here to the other end. We're going to wrap this cordage around the tree, and I'm just going to lean on this for a second, because what I want to do is I want to take one of these prusiks and I want to put it around this ridgeline. So I'm going to go around and go through the loop 3 times. So there's one pass through the loop, there's the second pass through the loop, and one more time here through the loop, and this will give me a prusik. We want to make sure that we dress the knot up really nice, make it nice and pretty, nice and clean. And then the cool thing about the prusik is it gives me a point of contact, and I can slide this up or down the rope anywhere I want it. And when I get it where I want it, if I pull against it, it locks, okay, in either direction. So this is what I'm going to use. So now we'll take this cordage that I had my shoulder against, we'll pass it around the tree, we'll come out here to our prusik, and we will take a bight of this cordage, we'll run the bight through the prusik, and we'll pull the bight back towards the tree. This will tighten the ridge line, okay? Now if this loop gets too large, you can pinch it right here in your hand and pull down on the standing end and minimize the size of this loop. Okay, so we're just going to tighten this thing to whatever tightness we want. When we get it to the tightness that we want, and we get this loop minimized down to a small size, we'll reach through this loop with our finger and our thumb, and we'll pull a bight of the standing end through and jerk it towards the tree. Boom. What this does is this locks everything in place, and now we have a good solid ridge line that isn't going to slip or go anywhere. So now what we need to do to be able to set up our tarp for a shelter is we need to take the other 2 bank line, the prusiks, and we'll put them on this cordage. So there's 1 pass, 2 passes, 3 passes, and dress these up. Make them nice and pretty. They need to be real nice so that they'll work effectively. So there's 1 prusik. We'll do the same thing with this other one. And you notice I'm putting the knot somewhere in the middle. I don't need the knot down here at the bottom or up here where I'm trying to tie my prusik. So again, we put it over the cord, over the ridge line rather, go through once, go through twice, and go through 1 final time, and then from here dress the knot, get it nice and pretty. I can't stress that enough on dressing the knot. What that does is it makes it where the knot is very effective. So now I have 2 additional prusiks installed on my line. From here we can install our tarp and make our shelter. So there's a look at the shelter. Very easy to set up. As you can see, the prusiks, I use toggles through each of these prusiks right here, and then if I need them looser or tighter, it's very easy to adjust them. 2 stakes on the ground down there, and then of course if you have a sleeping pad, You can put your sleeping pad in here, and there's plenty of room inside to get a good night's sleep out of the elements, so you don't have to worry about getting rained on. Not under this shelter. Plenty of headroom if you want to just sit here, gather your thoughts, wait out a storm, whatever the case might be. This is a good shelter for that. I cannot tell you how many nights I've slept under shelters just like this. This is a lean-to configuration. Plow point is also a very good one. Okay, when you're finished with your shelter and you want to take this all apart, you just pull this standing end, and when this loop comes out, everything is going to fall apart. Watch this. Boom. So from here, we're going to take the Prusik and we're going to run all three of the Prusik towards the bowline end of the rope. So you see, you loosen them a little bit and they can slide very easily. So I'm going to just put all three of them towards the bowline end of the rope. So here comes all three of the Prusik. Got them all installed on the Ridgeline. Now I can relieve a little bit of pressure here and pull this Marlin spike hitch out, and everything falls apart. And then I take these three Prusik rather, and I run them all up to this knot right here so that they're against the bowline. That way they're ready to go whenever we need to deploy this as a Ridgeline for our shelter. Now this leads us to the last portion of making this quick release. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick all this between my fingers here, just like this, and I'm going to go between my thumb and my pinky, just like this, with all 25 feet of the cordage. And the reason for this is for that quick deployment. When I get about 2.5 feet left, then I can take this bundle like this, take this standing end, which is now going to go around the cordage, and I'm going to wrap this around. And then when I get to the very last wrap, I'm going to make a clove hitch. Now, how do I make a clove hitch? I come around and I go make an X. See, I need to do that one last rep. Make an X, and then I'm going to come around here and I'm going to go in and out of the X. 1, 2. So now we have this thing in a really nice bundle that's going to be easy to deploy. I throw this in my pack, and when I go out to a place where I'm going to put up a shelter, I just hold the bundle right here and I look for this tag that has these Prusik and this bowline, and then I just pull this out. Look at how quick that deploys. There's no snags, no problems. Everything comes out very effectively, very quickly. And that, my friends, is how I set up my quick deploy Ridgeline 25-footer. When you get too long on your cordage and you do like 50 feet or 100 feet, you're going to see a lot more potential for the cordage to snag on things. So that's why I highly recommend 30 feet probably would be the max. 25 is like the perfect sweet spot. Most of your trees that you're going to put up for Ridgeline are going to be within 25 feet of each other, or 20 feet for that matter, because you need a couple feet to go around each tree, right? So it's super simple, super effective. And again, you can use whatever kind of paracord you want for this. It doesn't have to be these cheap ones. I'm just doing it because the video today, we're on a budget. I want to show people how they can save a little money and still make something that works good, that they can throw in their kit that's going to be quick deployable. So on this last wrap, when I come around, I'm just going to make an X right there. This X right here. So as this tail comes in, it's going to go under and out on this side of the X. So it's very, very easy. It's just a clove hitch is all it is. So in, under, and out. And then you just kind of tighten this thing, and there you have it. There's your quick deploy Ridgeline system. Throw it in your pack. It's good to go whenever you need it. It's very easy to find this. You have 3 connection points, so you don't have to worry about tying any knots. All the knots and everything are already done for you. The worst thing that you might have to do is dress these brusiks when you get it out. So you have one for each end of your tarp, and then you have a third one as that friction point, so you don't have to put a slip knot in the Ridgeline. When you put a slip knot in the Ridgeline and you pop that thing out, especially if your Ridgeline's been under a lot of tension, that creates wear and tear on that section of the cordage, and eventually it's going to wear out and break there. So with this third prusik, you minimize that, you get rid of that. You can replace this bank line a lot cheaper than the Ridgeline. Of course, we only spent $1.25. But folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video, how to make a quick deployable Ridgeline that's very easy to use. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and until next time, again folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.